The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
All right, well, welcome to our trilogy presentation. My name is Craig Blanchette, and I am your host for tonight's trilogy webinar. I'm going to tell you a little bit about, introduce myself, tell you a little bit about my history so we can be connected, and you guys, some of this will make a little bit of sense. So I was born with a birth defect, which isn't that big of a deal. A lot of people say, were you born that way? And I said, well, I had more hair when I was born. I don't miss my legs, but I do miss my hair. I had some fantastic hair. That's what people tell me anyway. But now I struggle with not only short legs, but no hair. But this picture on the left here, for those of you that are listening, you can't see it, but on the left, I have a before or a then and now photo. The photo on the left was me after I had gained about 50 pounds. I was still thinking I was fairly athletic because I have a professional racing career where I competed at an Olympic level, world champion all around the world. And this was at the halfway point of a 200-mile bike ride called the Seattle to Portland. And I actually poured myself into one of my old racing jerseys. Thank God it was Lycra, and it seemed to mold itself around all those rolls. I wonder in this picture, one thing, where's my neck? Because I don't know where my neck went. The photo on the right was actually taken last year while I was back to competing at an elite level in the national championship hand cycle race. And at 51, competing with a bunch of 31-year-olds. Here's another, story here where we talk about how OPTAVIA has actually changed my life. I call these more yes days. And a yes day, in my opinion, is when you have an opportunity where the phone calls, the phone rings, you get a text message from a friend of yours, and they say, can you, this case, a friend of mine said, can you come to Moab and do a 3-day hand cycle adventure? And I said, first question was, physically, can I? Yep. Thank you, OPTAVIA. Thank you, Habits of Health. Thank you, all of these lifestyle things that I've been working on for 10 years. The next question I had to ask myself was, could I afford it? Thank you, OPTAVIA. Yes, the finances are abundant. And so I was able to, at a moment's notice, say, yeah, I can do that. The third thing, which was really important, is because I'm a full-time OPTAVIA coach, I had to look at my schedule. And I said, schedule, can we move things around? Can we do this? And my schedule said yes. The last thing I had to do was say, Sweetie Pie Anita, my wife of 29 years, I said, do you want to go? And guess what? She's in great shape. She doesn't work, so her schedule was freed up, and we share our finances. So that worked out well. So not only was I able to go on this adventure, but she joined me, and we went to Moab, Utah last year, and we went on a 4-day hand cycle, off-road hand cycle trip. And it was fantastic. So that's what I'm talking about how OPTAVIA has changed my life. Sure, it's great to live in a body that's healthy, but my goodness, having healthy finances and having healthy relationships, because two things had to happen. One, I had to have a healthy relationship with somebody else that said, let's go play. And secondary, I had a healthy relationship with my wife to say, will you come with me? And she's like, absolutely, let's go do this, right? And so here's another one of what I call my whys. So this is my wife. And so I'm showing basically a picture for those of you listening, a picture of my wife and our grandchildren. So I'm 51. We've got 3 grandchildren. So we've got Scout on the couch here with us. She's almost, well, she'll be 3 in July. And then we've got Winter, and Winter's in the far right photo as well. We call her Winnie, and she's just a little sweetie pie. She's about 4 months old. Super awesome. And then we got introduced to Clark about 2 months ago. And so Clark is our first grandson. And so these are my whys. Not only are they my whys that I want to be able to be around in life, but I want to be an active participant in their life. And guess what? Every Wednesday night, it's playtime with Papa and Granny, and Scout comes and spends the night with us. Soon Winter will spend the night, and it'll be a little while before Clark starts spending the night. But we have lots of fun. Thursday mornings, it's wake up with Papa time, and Scout and I get to go play things like hide and go seek. She calls it super hide, and I love playing super hide with my little Scout. So tonight we're going to talk about lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. All right. And the idea is you're not going to get to this life that you want tomorrow, but you're going to get closer. And tomorrow's going to look a little different than yesterday. And you're going to keep moving forward a little bit at a time. And so right now we think about the idea of what's going on in the world. Quite frankly, right now, there is a health epidemic, right? Not only are we dealing with viruses and dealing with colds and dealing with things like that right now, that's kind of a pretty big deal. But not aside from that, we're dealing with worldwide statistics on obesity. And you know what? Just to take a second and talk a little bit about viruses and things like that. People that are living with lifestyle transformation that are part of the philosophy on wellness that OPTAVIA has champions, that OPTAVIA champions for people. It's healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. The people that are in that sweet spot are thriving, and threats, when these viruses and things come along, they're just not really threats. And think about that. If you get kind of upset and twisted up with these things because you're not living your best life, you're not in a healthy body, you have some chronic injuries and you're overweight and you're not sleeping well and you don't drink water, you just don't have all this together, right? You can't do something now for sure, but the time to get ready for this was 6 months ago. So making a decision today to live in that kind of lifestyle allows you to get around a lot of these things. The worldwide obesity has nearly tripled since 1975. Most of the world's population lives in countries where overweight and obesity kills more people than being underweight. You realize that more people die from being overweight than from starving now. That's so crazy. American statistics, think about this. Almost a third of adults with partners, that's about 31%, report that money is a major source of conflict in their relationships. So not only do our bodies, they're just not working well, but our relationships are suffering as well. Think about this. 69% of workers were stressed over their finances, with fully 72% admitting that worrying about their personal finances at work. One of the interesting things about that is when your finances, you're worried about that, it causes stress. That has twice as much of an effect on your physical health, because what do you do when you're stressed? You eat. You don't do that. Stress hormones, all that stuff is horrible. And so the reality is that when you are actually financially, things are looking hopeful, it just seems like things change, don't they? So we're going to talk a little bit about the 4 components of our system. And I've had people say, can I get the results you promise without all 4 components? And I would wager no. And if you can, good for you. But I can't. And I think that these 4 components are necessary. There's not 29 components, there's 4. I'm going to go through these, and then you're going to meet some of our amazing habits of health OPTAVIA coaches. So the independent OPTAVIA coach, that is one of the 4. The independent OPTAVIA coach is there to be a sounding board, a cheerleader, to be a guardrail in some circumstances. When you start getting off the road, there'll be a guardrail to bump you back on, right? They also are the person that maintains the relationship, almost the relationship with who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow. So you have a partner that reminds you about this person that you're building. I call it version 2.0. Right now we're 1.0, we're building 2.0. That's what a health coach is. The beauty of this process and what OPTAVIA has delivered is not only can you have one, you can be one. We're going to talk about more about that a little bit later. The Habits of Health Transformational System. Now you might ask, it looks like a couple of books. Why do I need a couple of books? Why do I need a system? Well, if you have a system, right now what happens in America is we don't have a lack of information. Quite frankly, we have too much information. And it might all be good information, but it doesn't always gel together. And so what Dr. A did is he took 19 years and he built this system over time, little by little by little, so it all works together as a complete system to move. So you plug yourself in here and then you just work it, show up, work it, and you will come out better because it's a system. It's designed that way. The neat thing about being a health coach is I don't have to know all the ins and outs of it. I just jump into the system and follow it myself. So two things are important about that for me. One, I can follow a system, right? And two, I can show other people how to follow a system and then do it with them. So that's the beauty of our Habits of Health transformational system. OPTAVIA community, the idea of community. If you break down the word community into two words, you get common and unity. So you do things with people that want the same things and you become stronger. I don't know about you, but I find that if you get in a group of 5 to 7 people that are like-minded and one of you is a leader, you become impenetrable. You become a force that's dynamic and powerful. You don't want to get on your own when it comes to this kind of important stuff. And then we have our fuelings. OPTAVIA fuelings solve two of the biggest problems. It's what to eat and when to eat, yes, but it's also getting the nutrients right. That's the vitamins and minerals. Getting the calories right? That's where our energy comes from. It is getting both of those together. I find that my mind can focus on one or the other, but not both at the same time. And so what I have found is utilizing the fuelings does something. It simplifies the process so I don't spend my mental energy on what to eat, but rather I spend my mental energy on who I'm becoming, on getting clear on what I want. And I'm telling you what, that is the beauty of why all 4 of these things work together synergistically. So it is my pleasure to bring on one of my favorite people, Harold Prestenbach. He's an independent OPTAVIA coach, one of my personal friends. We've teamed up and worked together for years. And I want to bring on Harold. He's going to share a little bit about his journey, what OPTAVIA has done to change his life. And look at all these beautiful people in this picture. Oh my goodness. So welcome, Harold Prestenbach.
I love it. Thank you for the introduction, Craig. And yes, if you're seeing that picture of those amazing creatures right there, then you're looking at my motivation, my inspiration, and why I decided to radically change and transform my life while transforming others in the process. And that's the beauty of OPTAVIA. Craig just touched on a lot of great points, and I'll get into a little bit of how those things worked for us to create the life that we've created. But, it wasn't too long ago, or actually it's been quite a few years now, but at some point we were operating in a place of lack. My wife and I were operating in a place of scarcity. We were operating in a place of fear more often than not. And on the surface, sure, we appeared to have it going on. We had a semi-successful business, small business. I say semi-successful because I view success in a different light now. But we were gym owners, so we had the muscles, we had the 6-packs, we had the nice neighborhood, nice house, 2.5 kids at the time, and we had some shiny toys and cars, right? So on the surface, we appeared to be doing pretty well. But that semi-success came at a cost, right? There was a price to pay for that. And for us, it was time, and it was health. So the time was, we had to put in more effort. We had to put in more hours. And, we joke sometimes to say I was about as elusive as Bigfoot in my house. There were sightings of me. You knew I dwelled there. But most of the time, my kids and my family were sleeping when I left, and they were sleeping when I returned. And the time that I did spend with them, I was in proximity of them, but I was rarely present because I was always chronically thinking of the bills, the debt, just crunching numbers of how I was going to be able to give us what we had always dreamt of and talked about. How was I going to dig us out of this hole? And I felt that pressure. So then my health got impacted by that, because for me, it was a little bit of the opposite though. I kind of was more malnourished. I ate less. And then in the evening times, I tend to drink a little bit more, because those moments, just to be honest, it escaped me from the chronic thinking of crunching those numbers. And I wasn't crunching numbers out of vanity. It wasn't like we wanted these elaborate things and Lambos or anything like that. It was, we wanted to stop surviving. We just wanted to thrive, right? And then that semi-successful business that we were operating, we were still settling in so many aspects of our life. We were settling in the lack of quality education we're able to provide our kids. We were settling in the quality of food we were putting on our table for our family. We were settling in the vacation and the experiences that we could give and create. We were settling where we lived. We were settling in the size of donations we wanted to give, because our heart wanted to give more, but our pockets told us we had to give less, right? We settled even when I looked at a menu in a restaurant. I would look at the price, not at the item, because the price dictated what I had to settle for. And that's the world we were living in. And we had turned down OPTAVIA many, many times because we were kind of caught into what we thought was right. And it probably was 6 months to a year that we turned it down. And finally, Sam and I, we looked at each other and we said, you know what? We tried working for other people. We tried corporate America. We tried this brick and mortar business that we're doing, and it just wasn't doing it. It wasn't giving us what we wanted. It wasn't making the impact that we wanted for others and for our family. So for us, we had to ask, what if? What if this vehicle and this opportunity of health coaching with OPTAVIA could give us what we wanted? Because we had been chasing our dreams for years. We had been chasing our dreams post-college. We had been chasing our dreams after marriage, and we were chasing dreams for our kids. But the more we chased it, guess what? The faster they ran, the further they seemed to run from us, right? So we had a paradigm shift. We were like, what if this could provide it? And if it could, why don't we create what we desire to create instead of chasing what we think we want? So we decided to create what we wanted. So, I could not, as we jumped into the system, the 4 components that you heard Craig speak about, oh my goodness, as a fitness professional, I'll tell you what, we overcomplicate things. It's the rest of you that can take this simple system and just be a guide to each component. And we realized how much we had overcomplicated our other business and how simple this was in providing people exactly what they wanted just when they needed it. And I think as we began to get healthy, as we began to offer that to other people, as we began to support them in what they wanted, we then began to personally operate in a life of abundance. We began to operate, with no fear. And we started to operate from the paradigm of what if. Hey, how we're going to do that, honey? I don't know, but what if? I don't know if that's going to work, honey. I don't know, but what if it does, right? And in that time that we lost with our kids, they say that you get that time back, but you don't get conversations back with a 4-year-old, or not the same with a 14-year-old. You don't get that back. And that's what really pushed us. That's what really motivated us to move forward. So to any stressful dad out there that's up at 2 a.m. trying to figure it out, to any overwhelmed mom out there that's just like, I don't know what we're doing and how we got here, I'm just going to tell you, I don't know if this is for you. It may or may not be, but I'll leave you with this. What if it is? Thanks, Craig.
So good. Thank you so much, Harold. It is a privilege to have worked with you and seen your family grow, seen the decisions to, guess what, we're going to have another child because we can, and bring more life into this world, and literally abundance. So thank you for your example. With what OPTAVIA really offers is something we call the trilogy of optimal health. And it's basically these three things. We can't just focus on a healthy body. It's nice to have a healthy body, no question. If you're sick, not a whole lot else matters, right? You can have a big bank account and be on your deathbed, and oh my goodness, what if you're sick and you have relationships but you can't leave the house, right? So healthy body is definitely an important piece of it. But quite honestly, developing a healthy body actually comes from developing a healthy mind, changing the ways that you think, changing the things that you value, changing how you respond and react, and how oftentimes it's just a conversation with yourself. And so a healthy mind is really definitely a critical piece of what OPTAVIA offers. And a lot of people don't show up thinking that they really need to change their mind. They just need to change some of the ingredients, some of the mechanics, if you will, so they can get to that healthy weight. And you know what's the craziest thing? When you get to a healthy weight, what do? You reward yourself with a cheeseburger and a milkshake, right? You can tell something's not right going there. But what I love about this program is to see people's value propositions when they come into the program, how that starts to shift. And they start putting a little less value on merely tasty food, but they don't really care how they feel afterwards. And they start shifting to, I want my food to be tasty, but I want to feel good too. I want both, and it's possible. So that healthy mind shifts, and that they change what they eat. And they change what they eat, it changes their body, it changes their mind. But one of the things that we have found has changed my life the most is the finances. Having to not stress if tomorrow I'm going to have the money that I need to actually afford my life, to keep the lights on. But what about when you have more money than what you need to live your life? Well, then you get to build other things with other people. And that's one of the beautiful things. So these three things really, there's kind of a thread, if you will, that weaves through all three of these things that actually lead to what we call optimal health. And so the benefits of becoming an OPTAVIA coach, well, it reinforces your decision to be healthy. I don't know if you thought about this, but you probably heard the teacher learns the most. So as you're working on this, not only in your personal life, but you're working on health with others vocationally, the double whammy is powerful. You pay it forward and you make a difference. It's fun and rewarding. I don't know about you, but I love hearing the phone calls of people winning by paying off credit cards, people winning by developing new relationships, and people willing by literally getting strong and feeling fabulous inside of the skin. They wake up in a body they're thankful they live in, right? The compensation, the currency of goodwill, we get compensated by helping people get and develop the life they want. And it's super fulfilling financially. And we get to leave a legacy. We get to do something good. So now, hold on to your seats. I have our next guest here, Leslie Begin. I remember when she first started coaching back in the day, and oh my goodness, is this girl a firecracker. This is Leslie Begin. She's another one of our independent OPTAVIA coaches. This is actually a picture of her and Trey. Fantastic, man. Welcome, Leslie Begin.
Thank you so much, Craig. It's such an honor to be here tonight. And gosh, Harold and his wife, Samantha, were my health coaches who just spoke. We used to meet each other once a year at a Christmas party. We would stay at the same Christmas party, stand in the same corner of the room, and have the same conversations every single year until OPTAVIA came. And I lost 45 pounds in 16 weeks, and that felt phenomenal, right? That's so little compared to the way my life has completely transformed because of this. I was a stay-at-home mom to 4 little kids, 6 and under. And I was ashamed of the fact that I didn't find extraordinary satisfaction in being a stay-at-home mom. I was a person who longed to make an impact, longed to leave a legacy, longed to influence people's lives. And I knew I should be grateful to be at home with these 4 kids, but I was exhausted. And I was underwhelmed by what life was looking like and overwhelmed by the responsibility in my life. I would write to-do list of the things I accomplished, changed a diaper, cross it out, changed a diaper, crossed it out. And all day long, that is what I was doing. And I was hoping for more. And OPTAVIA came in and I lost that weight. But more than that, I gained this enthusiasm and excitement about life again. I was flirty and fun with my husband again. I felt like a spontaneous woman again. I wanted to accomplish things and go after goals. And because I lost 45 pounds, which once felt impossible, I thought, what other impossibilities are now possible? And I realized my friends started coming to me, a very organic process, because I was living this journey out loud, and I was this new person again. I had found myself, and they started coming to me saying, I want that. I want the sexy and flirty and fun. You left a chubby mama behind. What did you do? And I thought, I'm just going to coach this thing after saying no to my coach multiple times. Because you see, I didn't think I had the time or the energy or the capacity or the ability to do something else other than the 4 hobbies that I had at home. But I decided to take a risk, and it paid off. Because you know what? When I had more energy because of OPTAVIA, I had more time. And as I gave this gift away to other people, I realized I was giving more gifts away to my children. I was showing these 4 daughters they can do anything. That a mama can be a full-time mama and love them super well, and also be a CEO who's building a business that's going to help set people free. And one day I had to run my husband to the emergency room late one night. We thought he was having a heart attack at 33 years old. It turns out he was just having a panic attack. But as I sat in the emergency room and thought, I'm going to lose my husband and leave those 4 little girls tucked in bed, I realized he was completely stressed out, providing for a huge family, and also the 35 other employees we had in our other businesses and their families. And I thought, he's stressed out, and I'm finding joy in what I'm doing. I'm finding life in what I'm doing. I am going to take this from being a nice little hobby to being a career. I'm going to be a CEO. I'm going to go and make a business. So I made a business, and you know what it's done? It's helped me to equip and empower other stay-at-home moms who are feeling underwhelmed on a soul level and overwhelmed on a responsibility level to find purpose and passion in life again. And it's helped me to help equip them with the finances they need to live in financial freedom and find the energy they need to be the mom and the businesswoman, the wife and the mom, to live in the and of, yes, now, as they've said before, healthy finances, we get to give extravagantly. We get to empower others to do what we do. And as Harold asked you, what if? Like, some of you are saying, I don't have the time. What if you did? If you could find the time, how would you do it? Because your family and friends are counting on you. And if you don't do this, they're not going to choose health. They're not going to choose life. And if you don't do this, you're not going to, Craig, I used to say, we're fine. We're fine. But what if you could go from fine to fantastic? And what if then you could help your friends and family to do the same? They are literally counting on you. And if I could beg you, just go to the one person who invited you to this call and talk to them more. Just explore it. You owe it to the people who are waiting for your yes to explore it. Thanks, Craig.
So good. Thank you. I love the idea of the what if. And that, oddly enough, when I talked about becoming a coach, my wife wasn't super excited about it. And I said, yeah, but if I don't do it, I'll never know for sure. I just have to get in there and give it a shot, because if I don't, I'll always wonder. And oh my goodness, I gave it a shot. And if you were to interview her today, she's like, I'm so glad you took that shot. So how does it work for coaches? Well, it's a relationship model. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to care about people. We focused on optimal well-being. We're self-employed and independent. We set our schedules. Nobody tells you when you have to work and when you don't work. You can work. I have a little iPad and I have my iPhone, and I can work from wherever I want. A lot of times I work from my desk. I have a big monitor and I do my coaching from home, but you can coach a lot of different ways. It's very flexible. It's also part-time or full-time. What I like to say is it's part-time work with full-time pay, because that's what I've noticed. And the neat thing about it is that you get to determine that. Someone else I was talking to recently, where she was getting a pay cut at work, and I said, have you ever thought about why you're allowing someone else to set your worth? When they tell you how much they're going to pay you for, have you thought about the idea that you're allowing someone else to tell you what you're worth? And you could determine that with OPTAVIA. Go help a ton of people and see what happens. It's low startup and the operating costs. There's no inventory. We're not selling anything. What we're doing is we're partnering with people. We're providing a process and some tools to help them win. It's a flexible business, so you can work from anywhere. We talked about that. There's no quotas. We're very different than what you might think this looks like. Very different. And there's unbelievable training and support. It's the levels of mentorship. Here's the crazy thing, is that I have mentored with Sam and Harold and Leslie and Trey, and now I'm getting mentoring and support from them. And it's this reciprocal thing where we're all just challenging each other to get better. So the OPTAVIA coach support, we train people. It's a, instead of, like, think about this, instead of telling you how to cook something, we say, come in the kitchen, grab a pan, and let's cook something together. That's a lot better way of understanding the model. We learn as we earn. Another interesting thing, a lot of times you'll go to school and you'll get your degree, and then you get a piece of paper, and what comes next? You go get a job. What if you could actually get paid while you're learning? So that's what we call learn as you earn. We work with a business coach and a mentorship team. So you have lots of people in your life that are helping you from different vantage points, keep you going down that road towards your dreams. We employ team coaching. So nobody does these things on your own, and you grow as an apprentice. And you get to work at your own pace. One of the things that I love to say is we set the course. So we'll tell you step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You decide how quickly you want to run between steps. That's up to you. So there's no pressure. I mean, some people want to run fast because they got big dreams. Awesome. Buckle up. Let's go. Some people want to kind of go at a jogging pace. That's fine too. And we actually have optional local, regional, and national wellness and training events. We're having our national convention. It's in Atlanta this year, and you might want to check that out. So join our OPTAVIA mission. Join our OPTAVIA mission, lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation. I want to encourage you to ask yourself one question. What if you could have more yes days? What if? And second is I want to encourage you to, whoever invited you, whoever you found out where this was, that this was happening tonight, call them. Say, hey, I got a couple questions. I got a couple things I want to talk through. I got some dreams that, quite frankly, are like a checkbox without a check in it. And I'd like to see about putting a check in that checkbox. Ask yourself, what if you? And quite frankly, I would say, why not you? Somebody's going to be successful. Why wouldn't that be you? It's been my pleasure to host this webinar for you guys tonight. We'll see you next time on one of our Wednesday Trilogy calls. Thank you.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan. which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in Health, the OPTAVIA team.